Apples, mangoes, oranges, watermelons. Their names are spoken once, because after that, numbers lose meaning. What grew on this land was never normal. Season after season, the soil held on, until the harvest crossed every known limit and ordinary machines quietly stepped away. This field looks peaceful at golden hour, but it hides a problem too heavy to ignore. Modern equipment failed here. Speed meant nothing. Precision meant nothing. What was needed was raw, controlled strength. That is why they didn't call a factory. They called an old yard where a forgotten hydraulic machine waited in silence. The beast arrived slowly, its body scarred with rust, oil soaked deep into its steel. This machine was built in a time when power mattered more than comfort. When its engine wakes up, the sound is low and heavy, pistons beginning their rhythm, hydraulic lines tightening as pressure builds. The ground itself seems to listen. The claws lower with care, not aggression. Dust lifts as the first massive load leaves the soil. The engine tone drops, warning of weight pushing past safe limits. Any modern system would stop here. This one adjusts. Leg pistons lock into the earth. Pressure shifts. The load rises. Ahead waits a 50-tire trolley, built only to survive moments like this. The drop lands hard. Metal groans. Suspension sinks. The trolley holds, but lower than before. And the beast turns back for more. Each cycle grows heavier. The field changes under stress. Steam mixes with sunlight. This is no longer harvesting. It is containment through force and patience. Every movement is slow because one mistake ends everything. The final load pauses the scene. Engine low. Hydraulics strained. Then motion, controlled, deliberate. The last impact sinks the trolley to its limit. And finally, silence returns. They didn't bring this beast for efficiency. They brought it because when limits disappear, only old power knows how to finish the job.
Even after the final load settles, the field does not immediately return to silence. The ground continues to shift, slowly accepting the pressure it was forced to bear. Warm metal ticks as the beast cools down, steam fading from its joints like breath in cold air. This machine does not celebrate its work. It simply stops, knowing the task is complete. Time has shaped this beast as much as steel and oil. Scratches, dents, and rust are not flaws, they are records. Each mark exists because this machine once stood in front of something too heavy, too difficult, or too dangerous for anything else to handle. It was never designed for comfort or speed, only for survival under pressure. The trolley remains where it is, sunk deep under its own success. 50 tires flattened nearly to their limits, steel frame bowed but intact. What it carries now feels less like fruit and more like cargo meant for a different world. The workers keep their distance, understanding that even resting weight can still shift without warning. Around them, the land tells its own story. Rows are pressed into the soil, cracks spreading where roots once fought for space. This ground gave more than it should have, and it took an equally unforgiving force to reclaim what it produced. Nothing here looks untouched anymore. As the sun drops lower, shadows stretch across the field, wrapping the beast in long lines of light and dark. In this moment, it feels less like a machine and more like a relic, something from an age when engineering respected limits by building far beyond them. Soon the trolley will move on. Roads will bend under its load. People will question how something so heavy was ever lifted. The answer will not be found in modern speed or smart systems, but in patience, balance, and controlled force. This is how impossible harvests are completed, not quickly, not cleanly, but with endurance that refuses to fail.
When the engine finally settles, the field feels different. Not quieter, heavier. The air still carries heat, dust, and the faint hiss of cooling hydraulics. The beast stands motionless, as if it is thinking, its work etched into the ground beneath it. Deep tracks mark every step it took, permanent reminders of weight that refuse to be ignored. The trolley now sits lower than it was ever designed to sit. 50 tires compressed almost flat, steel frame flexed but unbroken. What rests inside it no longer looks like a harvest. It looks like cargo meant for something far larger than humans. Workers keep their distance, not out of fear, but respect. This is not a space for haste. The beast shifts slightly, releasing pressure from its joints. Oil drips from old seals, hitting hot metal and vanishing in thin smoke. This machine has carried loads beyond its original purpose, yet it never complained. It was built to endure, not to look impressive. Around it, the field tells the story. Cracked soil, flattened rows, a place permanently changed by what it produced. This land gave more than it should have, and only something equally unforgiving could take it away. The sun begins to fall lower, cutting long shadows across the ground. In that light, the beast looks less like a machine and more like a relic from another age, one that still understands weight, balance, and consequence better than anything new. Soon, the trolley will move. Roads will bend under its load. People will ask how something this heavy was ever lifted. The answer will not be found in speed or technology, but in patience, pressure, and an old hydraulic heart that refused to stop. This is how impossible harvests end, not with efficiency, but with endurance.